Right, so deception is rewarded, and those who speak out are ridiculed or dismissed as extremists. So the modern Inquisition, those who dare to challenge the status quo are labeled as radicals, extremists, or even mentally ill. Not because their arguments lack merit, but because the truth is too inconvenient for the ruling ideology. So, let's say, for example, a person that would make these types of arguments, let's say they were mentally ill, would that make the argument less, valid, right? What does the person, what is the connection there between the person and the argument made, right? But whatever. The comfort of lies. So deception flourishes because it is easier to accept than the harsh reality of injustice. Certainly, what we're seeing is an injustice beyond words. A society that refuses to confront its own moral failures will elevate those who perpetrate the lies and silence. And the lies and silence those who expose us. So they will silence the people who expose them. Because it's just easier to accept the lie than it is to accept the reality, right? So the weaponization of language, dismissing people as extreme or dangerous in a convenient way to avoid engaging with the substance of their arguments. If you can label someone as crazy, you don't have to debate them, or a misogynist, or some sort of phobist, whatever, he's a phobic, something phobic. Yeah. You're a crazy person, right? So I don't have to engage with the argument, right? But the argument is it's not my argument. It's the argument of basic embryology. I mean, it's just science. Um, so history. I'm not making any arguments. I'm not generating any kind of substance. I'm just pointing out that what they are saying themselves, right? The science is clear, right? The science is clear, but the industry will, make this type of deception. History repeats itself. Many who opposed past injustices, whether it was slavery, genocide, or other human rights violations, were ridiculed, ostracized, and persecuted. Yet history ultimately vindicated them. The same will happen here. So if you're on the right side of history, if you're watching these videos here, and when I recorded this 2025, so it's been 25 years since the new century began here. So let's say, for example, at the end of this century here, hopefully, these videos are still up, and we'll be able to see that, man, this guy was on the right side of history. It's very, very clear to see that I'm on the right side of history, and all you have to do is tell the truth. When does the conception? When does the pregnancy occur? Is it conception? Does the birth control pill does the birth control pill actually prevent ovulation? The answer is no. Is a baby, being killed by these, birth control pills? And the answer is yes. Is human fertilization an illness that a doctor can cure? And so forth. All right, so the fear of the truth. If truth were truly on their side, they wouldn't need censorship, social shaming, and institutional suppression. The fact that they resort to these tactics proves that deception is their foundation. The silent majority versus the loud minority. Yeah. So many people instinctively know the truth, but they remain silent out of fear of social consequences. Meanwhile, those who promote falsehoods are loud, well-funded, and culturally powerful, creating the illusion of consensus. So lots of people will understand basic biology. I mean, it's not like that many people are deceived. I mean, a lot of people will be, but for the most part, most people are reasonable. The loud, the loud feminists and all this stuff. They are loud. Not just with the way they dress and their loud voices, but they're just loud in general, right? So the financial incentive of deception. So those who profit from falsehoods, whether in politics, medicine, or media, have a vested interest in maintaining the deception. The more people buy into the lie, the more power and wealth they accumulate. Truth is not determined by popularity. That's very, very important. All right. So even if the majority refuses to see it, truth remains unchanged. Science, morality, and logic do not bend to social trends or political convenience. And that's why I don't really care about how many views or, I mean, my friends are, how many views does your YouTube channel have? I don't, it doesn't matter how many views. My truth is not determined by popularity. It doesn't have any bearing. It doesn't, even if one person sees it, it will be the truth. And even if 1,000 people sees it, it will still be the truth. The truth will not change. And if 1 million or even 1 billion people will see it. It was the truth is not determined by popularity or how many YouTube views or how many clicks or likes or whatever, or even how many people see refuse to acknowledge or accept the truth. The truth will remain the same regardless of even if the people exist or not. And so the price of speaking out. So many who expose deception will face backlash, defamation, and character assassination. So I'm sure they'll try to paint me as a mental health and all that stuff. It happened before, but I do have documented evidence of the contrary and all this stuff. But it doesn't matter. Let's say, for example, I were mentally ill. Let's say, for example, I were mentally ill, and I were to put forth these arguments. Would the fact that I'd be mentally ill, would that change the verity of my arguments, right? Would my arguments still be soundly reasoned and well established in law and facts and basic biology and embryology? I don't believe my mental illness will bear any type of it will change in any type of if the argument is correct, it's correct. If the argument is not correct and not founded in reason, well then it's certainly not, right? So, let's say, but that is the thing, the flawed reasoning of this guy's crazy, so we're going to completely disregard what he says. Um, well, it's folly and shameful unto you if you don't if you don't answer the matter before you hear it. That's your own folly and shame, right? But this is a necessary cost of standing for what is right. The alternative, staying silent in the face of evil, is far worse. So that's very, very important, right? So the now it's very challenging for advocates of advocates of life, people that don't necessarily like killing babies. It's difficult because of these evil people, but at the end of the day, standing firm for what is truth, we know is correct. Killing babies is wrong. At the end of the day, we will always persevere, right? It's very, very important to remember that. And hope and persistence, while a deception may seem insurmountable, truth has a way of resurfacing. What is ridiculed today may be accepted tomorrow. The battle is long, but victory belongs to those who do not give up. Right, so it'd be very easy to give up and say, well, you got some case law from 1988, and we got some, politicians that are being bribed by the industry and all this stuff. She's going to get away with it. So what's the point in even making this? Well, there is a point. There's a point, because if I were to just accept this, I would be as guilty as anybody else. So it's very, very important that we do speak out against these people are extremists. Anybody that kills a baby, they're radical extremists, very dangerous people, very evil, and very shameful conduct under the guise of medicine. But all they've done is just brought the administration of medicine, under disrepute. It's very sad, very sad. So deception is rewarded, and those like me who speak out or speak, make logical, sound arguments that have sound reasoning and logic and have merit, well, they will be ridiculed as a mental illness. But I mean, the truth is always the truth; it will never change.